And Deion's had quite a 24 hours as the head coach of Colorado. Danny, what do you make of Deion's? Because obviously the cameras are rolling.
Yeah.
And he has made quite an impression already, including introducing his son as the team's new quarterback, QB1.
Competition over.
And so I guess not. They say every job is open when there's a new hire in town. Not in this case. What do you make of Deion's first 24 hours as the Colorado head coach?
So, lot to take in, right? There's been a lot to take in. I love it from a content perspective. Like, it gives us a ton to talk about. I think, there was I watched the whole, what was it, 8 or 9 minutes in front of the team, when they had the cameras following him.
Mm-hmm.
I thought his message was one that I've heard a lot in different locker rooms, probably primarily skewed towards an NFL locker room where it's a little bit more cutthroat. Hey, I'm keeping guys that I want, and if you ain't good enough, you're getting cut. That to me was a message that I thought where it shocked a lot of people, but that's a reality that I think a lot of coaches say the same message at a program that's one of the worst in college football. Like, I'm kind of like, yeah, what else do you want him to say? Do you want him to coddle these guys and say, I'm going to turn you guys into stars? No, he's going to say, you're either good enough or you're not. And if you're not, then you're gone. And I thought I was trying to look very closely at some of the players' faces in the video. I think they were a little bit shell shocked because I think they thought it was going to be a lovey-dovey, I'm so excited to be here type of moment. And Deion had anything but that. But I thought I think it's going to, who said on our text that it was either going to be all or nothing? Because I kind of do feel I'm kind of in that camp with Tom. Like, it's either going to be a home run or it's going to be a disaster. I don't know if there's a 7-5, a couple years of, mediocrity. I think it's either going to be spectacular or it's going to be spectacularly bad. I will say this, like, it's a unique aspect when one of the first things you're asked to do as a player is to sign a waiver that so the cameras can be on and following you everywhere you go. That doesn't happen at every university.
No.
Some players will find that attractive, though. Like, hey, that's one of the attractions of Deion. He'll sell that to recruits and portal, guys in the portal. You come here, I'm going to build you a brand too. Yes, I'm going to make you into a great football player, but you're going to get exposure that you wouldn't get anywhere else. So I think it's going to be exciting. We're going to watch it closely. There is zero question, infuses a ton of life into Colorado's program. From what I've heard, they are going to address some of the issues they've had before with getting players in through the portal requirements. They're going to address that. So if you give Deion what he needs, good luck, man. Let's watch it. Let's have a party and get our popcorn out and start watching it.
See, and that's where my problem comes in. Like, I don't have a problem with what Deion said to the players in that video. Like, he's taking over a team that went 1-11.
Right.
If you think your job is secure, you've got, here's your wake-up call. If you work hard and you want to be here, you'll be here. If you don't, there's the door. It's a pretty standard kind of message that new coaches will give teams, especially when they're taking over terrible teams. And Colorado was a terrible team. My problem is that it's all being recorded and he's having them sign, like waivers. It's like, is it cool if we release this? I think that if Deion just is a football coach coming into a program, given his stature and his profile, can help revitalize a program. We've already seen him do it at Jackson State.
Mm-hmm.
He's making Colorado an attractive destination for top talent that would have never considered it if it wasn't for Deion Sanders being there. But is he trying to be a football coach and build a program, or is he trying to build a reality television show? And having that being recorded and having the camera crews follow everything around, that's where I feel like the lines get blurred, because every school has like a social media team where they film the coach giving like a whatever speech and then they cut it together and it's like the team celebrating the locker room, all that kind of stuff. But I feel like this is a TV show that they're trying to create here, like a series of episodes more than just little clips that are going to be on social media. And that kind of, I don't know, old manish, that's just like, I feel like the tail's wagging the dog there. Build the team, and then the team can produce the content with winning football games. Don't try to build a TV show and hope to win on the way.
But what did he do at Jackson State? That's what he knows, because he built the brand, trusting that players will follow the brand, which I think is more in tune with today's player than you or I. Because
Right.
I'm with you. Like, do you really want, like, what are we really about? But today's player, a lot of them say, yeah, I'm going to be on I'm going to gain
I've
100,000
had my own
followers.
Netflix show on my Instagram channel all the time. Like I've been doing a behind the scenes of my rise in this game, and I've been broadcasting it myself. And now I get to be alongside co-star Deion Sanders, Coach Prime. It's not for me, but I think that come be a star on my TV show is going to work for some recruits.
But will it work on the field? Because there's the thing, like Jackson State, it's in the SWAC, which is a great conference with a ton of tradition, but in recent years hasn't exactly been the most powerful football conference in the country. So when you attract 5-star recruits and P5 transfers playing against the rest of that conference, the talent edge is ridiculous. You're going to win those games. There are no Utahs there. There aren't any Oregons. There aren't any Washingtons. So just strictly attracting players to help build their brands. Like if that's the goal, great. But if there's bigger goals and like winning games, I don't know if this is the approach that's going to work, which is why I'm firmly in this is either going to be incredible. Colorado's going to be competing for Pac-12 titles and playoff berths, or it is going to be a disaster. I don't see an in-between.
Here's where I think is interesting. And I think this is why the Deion hire is one thing. Who's on his staff, I think, is almost more important. Because Deion, he's not going to be, like we see Saban all the time, going around every single drill, making the little points and micromanaging. I think Deion has taken a page out of Bobby Bowden's playbook. And I think where Bobby Bowden, one of the things he learned, and it might have looked completely different, but Bobby knew the value in building a brand. Right? I mean, he built the brand of Florida State, and he did it by, playing anybody anywhere, and, by doing a TV show that was, one of the first guys to do it. I mean, a lot of coaches have done it, but he was one of the first to really embrace it. And like, if he gets Mike Zimmer, who is an analyst on his staff with head coaching NFL experience, to be his defensive coordinator, which I would think, why else would Mike Zimmer have done, been an analyst this past season other than to think, hey, the next stop, I'm going to get a massive opportunity. I think that's why his position hire, strength and conditioning, who's that going to be? Like, I think his staff becomes the most important thing now. But to Tom's point, you can miss on some of those guys at Jackson State. Like you can have you did have a significant talent edge. I was trying to go back and look at their schedule, but it seems to me that I recall a lot of their games were pretty much in hand. There weren't a lot of one-possession games. They were pretty much dominating because they had amassed so much talent. There's not only is there, no Utah, Oregon, but there's a lot of Arizona States that you didn't face at Jackson State either. Like you got to go through an entire schedule now. And by the way, it starts week 1 with Nebraska. Let's go. Like this is going to be, I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be very fascinating to watch it unfold.
So the school has announced that they're going to work with Deion on some of these transfer admission standards, which was one of the reasons why I was not valuing the Colorado job as highly as a potential landing spot. That if your goal is going to be to get in there and flip the roster as quickly as possible, then having any kind of obstacles getting players in was not going to be something that was going to make that as attractive. So, okay, we're doing that. Didn't we also get some quotes like, we don't have the money right now, but I'm not worried about it. The money will come in.
Yes, he absolutely was asked. And he absolutely said, we don't have it yet.
We don't have it yet.
But that's not as out of the ordinary as you think. That's
pretty
standard.
Ask
the Gator Collective.
I understand. Like, thank you for, bringing in the context that, because so many of these are on like pledges, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the money has been pledged, the cash is not there. He was being honest, maybe more honest than a lot of athletic directors would be, but it did sound hilarious. Like, no, but don't you worry. I mean, it really sounded like a Hollywood pitch. Like, no, don't worry. This will be a smash. It'll be a box office smash. It'll be good. You'll get all your money back. I promise.
Also, that's how movies are made. The money's not here yet, but we will pay you if you do
I do think, too, I think the thing that Deion will bring, I think he's got that dog in him. Like, and I think Colorado needs some of that. He needs some players with an edge. And I think he rides with that chip on his shoulder. And, I think he can motivate these. I think it's going to be fun. I would lean towards more towards the boom side, but my massive concern now, especially that he's introduced his quarterback to the world, good luck trying to get a backup. So if anything happens to Shador, they're probably toast. And also, Shador, we have no idea. Like, yes, he was good. And, some people that put him out there for the Heisman was kind of ridiculous. But we don't know how good he's going to be at the Power 5 level in this, landscape. If he's not you need a quarterback. And I know Deion's got confidence. He's his son. But if you miss on him and there's because who's going to come transfer into there as a quarterback? Like, I know I'm not. And if I'm there, I'm out of there. You're not even telling me I can compete for the job. That to me is a major concern.
Yeah. And I want it to work because I've always had a soft spot for Colorado to begin with, but I just think it would be good for college football as a whole if Deion Sanders is a successful coach and he's taking a program out west, because we need, it's good to have powerful programs all around the country. It's good to have guys who will get attention for being a good coach and running powerful programs. So it'd be good for the sport if Deion succeeds. So I want it to happen.
Great for the Pac-12, which is about to lose USC and UCLA, that if you've got a Colorado led by Coach Prime out there as one of the, the big attractions, then the value of the Pac-12 and the interest in the Pac-12 is going to be sky high. Officially, I will say that I do think it will be successful. I think that I'm not all the way with Tom in that it's going to be boom or bust, because I think that there's a version of boom that might be 8-4, where that one of those 8 is taking down one of the conference powers, but that there might not be enough consistency to always be able to go 12-0, 11-1, 10-2. And that when you're fluctuating the roster a lot, maybe that's where some of that it's hard to go up against Utah, for example, when you've got the kind of fluctuation that you've got versus what Kyle Whittingham has established over time. That's just one sort of thought, that the top of the Pac-12 is so strong. I can't imagine Colorado jumping straight there, but I think that Colorado under Deion Sanders will very, very quickly jump out of the bottom of the Pac-12 and find itself competing to be the 4th, 5th, 6th best team in the conference.
But let me ask you that, if Colorado's going 7-5, 8-4, 9-3, how long do you think Deion's sticking around to go 7-5, 8-4, and 9-3?
I don't know. I can't know that. This has happened very quickly. We just introduced him at the Power 5 level. We got to at least see what happens, right?
I just pulled up. I think their first home game is Nebraska. I'm looking at their 2023 schedule. It says on the road against TCU week 1.
Yeah, because they hosted TCU. Yeah.
So they're jumping right in, right into the deep end. TCU and Nebraska right off the get-go.
That I hope they put that, like on the opening weekend. They don't have a date announced for that yet. Maybe they could change it. I hope that's like the Sunday night game.
Yeah.
So we can all just watch it.
Just all hold hands and just take it all in.
I don't know now with all the new TV deals what's going to be what. So